You know, AI is absolutely everywhere these days. It promises to make us smarter, faster, more efficient. But what happens when we start trusting it with the really big stuff? We're talking about your career, your legal rights, even your job security. So let's dive in and see what happens when that AI advice goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. You're in a really tough spot at work. Maybe you feel like you've been treated unfairly, or you're even facing a dismissal. You need advice, and you need it like yesterday. You're stressed out, you're under pressure, and you're just desperate for some answers.
And it's tempting, isn't it? The idea of just opening up a chat window and asking an AI what to do. I mean, it's instant, it's free, and it sounds so confident and authoritative. But would you really bet your entire career on what it tells you?
Well, one man did exactly that. He turned to ChatGPT for some pretty serious legal advice, and the result was, to put it mildly, a complete and total disaster. In fact, the official verdict on his case? Hopeless. Let's break down exactly how this happened.
Right, so our first story is a pretty stark warning about what happens when you substitute an algorithm for a real, live expert. It involves a former employee, a guy named Brandon Diesel, and a legal claim that was basically dead on arrival.
So here's the deal. Mr. Diesel felt he was unlawfully terminated by his employer, Electra Lifco. Basically, he thought he was fired for exercising a workplace right, like, say, asking about his pay. So, on the advice of ChatGPT, he filed what's called a general protections claim. But, and this is a big but, there was a massive, case-killing problem he completely overlooked, all thanks to his AI advisor.
Just look at this number, 919. That is how many days late his claim was. You see, the legal window to file this kind of thing is just 21 days. 21. He missed the deadline by more than 2.5 years. I mean, that is just an unbelievable error.
And this timeline just shows you that fatal delay in painful detail. His job ends way back in late 2022. He doesn't even think to ask ChatGPT about it until early 2025. So by the time he finally lodges the claim, any chance he had was long gone. And as you'd expect, the commission took one look and refused to grant him an extension.
And that brings us to the final, damning judgment. The Fair Work Commission, they didn't mince words. They officially described his claim, which was apparently riddled with errors, as, and I quote, hopeless. A direct result of relying on AI instead of an actual lawyer.
Now here's the kicker. The most ironic part of this whole story. ChatGPT actually did include a disclaimer. It explicitly told Mr. Diesel that he should consult a legal professional. He just ignored that one crucial piece of advice, which led the commission to throw out his unmeritorious claim and basically say he'd wasted everyone's time.
But look, this isn't just some one-off story about bad legal advice. This problem of misplaced trust in AI is popping up all over the professional world, from the smallest tasks to the biggest projects. Let's broaden out a bit and see what that looks like.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. We've got two very different scenarios with the exact same root cause. On one side, you have a job applicant, Alexandra Frisbee Smith. She uses ChatGPT to help with a quick 30-minute task and gets instantly rejected for it. On the other side, you have a global consulting giant, Deloitte, using AI for a huge government report. And what happens? The AI just starts making things up, what we call hallucinations, publishing fake quotes, citing non-existent research, forcing them to give back some of the money. The stakes are totally different, but the failure of unchecked AI is exactly the same.
And this quote right here, it gets to the very heart of the debate. Ms. Frisbee Smith felt like she was just being efficient. She's asking, why are you shaming me for using a powerful tool? She even called out the hypocrisy, saying her potential employers must be using AI too, if they recognize the formatting so quickly. It just shows this massive disconnect about what's okay and what's not in the workplace right now.
So, we've seen AI give bad advice, we've seen it create flawed work, but what about the ultimate fear? The one that says AI is just going to flat out take our jobs. Well, our next story is about a group of employees who were told exactly that, right before a truly stunning turn of events.
Oh, this is just a fascinating sequence of events. So, step one, dedicated long-term employees spend their time training an AI chatbot called Bumblebee. Step two, the bank makes this big announcement that, hey, the bot is so successful we're making 45 of you redundant. But then, the whole plan just completely backfires. The bot is a spectacular failure. It actually increases call volumes and creates total chaos. The result? A humiliating reversal where the bank had to cancel all 45 redundancies just 1 month later.
In this quote from Catherine Sullivan, an employee with 25 years of service, it's just heartbreaking, isn't it?
Can you imagine the shock of realizing you have spent your time meticulously training the very machine that management is now using to eliminate your job? It is just the ultimate betrayal of an employee's expertise and loyalty.
So how did this happen? How did they win their jobs back? Well, it wasn't because the bank suddenly had a change of heart. No, it was because the finance sector union and the actual workers got together and challenged the decision. They gathered the real data and proved that the bank's claims about the bot's amazing efficiency were simply not true. It's just a powerful reminder of how important human oversight really is.
Okay, so we've looked at a hopeless legal case, a flawed job application, a faulty corporate report, and a chatbot that completely failed. Let's try and pull all of this together and figure out what the key lessons are here. The bottom line is this: AI is a tool. It's not an expert, and it's a flawed tool at that. It can, and it absolutely does, just invent things. Those so-called hallucinations where it states complete falsehoods as if they're gospel truth. And as Mr. Diesel's case proves, you are still responsible for your own actions, even if an AI told you to do it. Every single one of these stories shows that professional judgment and human oversight aren't just nice to have. They are absolutely critical.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? When a user ignores a disclaimer, when a company deploys a faulty bot, when a report is filled with made-up facts, who is ultimately responsible? The programmer? The company that owns it? The person who used it? As we weave these powerful tools more and more deeply into our lives, that is a question we are all going to have to answer.